Hi and welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today we're going to work on the Samsung top load washer. So if you have a washer that starts with WA52 or any of these models that you see here, this video is for you. So today we're working on a washer that does not drain. So I went ahead and removed the back panel, but if your drain pump sounds like this and no water is coming out, your washer is full of water, more likely it's your pump. Other symptoms, it stops around the 18-minute mark. And also the lid sometimes will not even open. You can't even open the lid. So I removed the back panel by these 4 screws here. If you're wondering how I got those off, they're just Phillips. I would recommend using a shop vac. I got this at the Home Depot. I'm not being paid to promote them, but it's a good vac. And then I put the hose down towards the floor just to get that leverage, and then it'll just suck right out the machine into the wet vac. And you do have to kind of, let me show you here, there's a little trick. I actually removed this too. It's the Phillips screw, and there it is. But this kind of gives it more of a down, lower angle to pump it out. So when you use your shop vac, you have to, let me just show you, it's easier. When you turn it on, you have your suction, and you just put it connected to the hose. But to get the water out, it has to have a little bit of air gap in there to get that to really start sucking out. So let me show you. So now it's really not really pumping much. So I'm going to pull it out just enough to give it a little air, and then it'll start pumping. As you can see, the hose now is moving quite a bit. So this is how we're going to remove the water. This is the most easiest way, because if you open up the bottom hose with the water in, obviously you're going to flood your house. So I placed the washer in the drain spin to activate the pump. So I just wanted to show you how this works. So when you're trying, when the machine is trying to get water out, it will not spin or do nothing if it has water in the tub. So as you can see here, once I start sucking the water out, the machine picks up the speed, and that's basically how it works, and that's why it does lock the door and you can't open it. So just kind of give you an idea of how it works. So as you can see, the speed is picking up. So now I'm at the point of where the water is completely just about sucked down. As you can see, the machine is actually spinning correctly now. I've not replaced the pump yet, but like I stated, it has to have the water out before you can activate the spin cycle, and that's why it won't spin. And like I stated, your door would be locked. And if you have a wire sticking out like you see on this one, you just have to rewire that. So let me go ahead and turn this off. And now we'll replace the pump. Just make sure you unplug it, most important. So right here is the drain pump. Still moving quite a bit, so I'm shaking a little bit. So you have 2 clamps. You have this one and the top one. So let me get me a pair of pliers. Use these. This way we can press this down and pull the clamp off the hose. This way we can remove it. I definitely would recommend having a towel too, because you might have a little excess water, but it shouldn't be much. But this is in the garage, so I'm not too worried. So after removing that one, we're going to do the same thing. You can actually use your fingers on this one and just press, and when you press, it's pull up on the hose, and this will just come off the pump itself. And then we'll have 2 Phillips screws that we have to remove, one there and one over there, but I'll show you. You do have one harness that's connected to this pump. It actually connects to the housing, I would say. So if you want to replace the whole harness, you can. It runs through here, then up the wall, and then, so we can remove these if you want. This harness connects to the main control board, and you have to remove the back panel, which is not too bad. But if the harness is fine, I just left this one, and you'll have to remove this, and then remove the back cover, so it goes up through here and then to the main board. So if you want to reconnect that, you can, but I'm just going to leave that one and use it on the new pump. So now we're going to remove the old pump. It's either, I think at 3/8, but not for sure, but I do definitely know it's a Phillips. You can use a hand tool or a drill. and fairly simple. So you just remove the one in the back now. Definitely have a good light. It's definitely easier if you have a good light, especially if you're in a dark area. So now the pump should just come right out. Just don't yank it out because you do have your power supply connected to it, and then you have a little wire that goes from the board to the pump that supplies the power supply, so you have to get that off there too. But here, I'll show you once I get a better angle at this. So there's a little pressing tab. You can use like a pair of needle nose or something like that to press it in. As you'll see, I'll do that soon. And then we'll disconnect the power supply. So this is a little cover that you have to clip off, or I guess press it over. So it's clipped in, and you'll press that, and they'll flip right over. There we go. So one key, take a picture of this. Definitely don't want to mix match these wires. You can put, say, the one on the left to the right, so you definitely want to make sure that you reconnect it correctly. Maybe that's why they give you this harness, because they want to make sure it's done right. Because if you put the yellow one on the left or vice versa, you mix it up, you're going to have an issue, because it does matter on this one. So if you do want to just remove the wiring from the pump, you have to do this one to the, obviously the new one. This is a better angle, so you have to do this to the old one. I mean, to remove the harness from the old one, and then just pry it down, or get it out of this clip. Just be careful. Use the flathead and just pull it out, slide it out, I would say. And then you can just open it up, and you can use a flathead just to pry it off. I like to kind of angle it out of way so I know exactly which way it's going to go, or just take a picture. So once you pry that off, then you can do the same with the old pump. So this is what I mean. You'll see here the same as the new. When you remove the wiring harness, you have a little clip that you have to press in. So take your needle nose or a flathead to press in both sides and press out. And this way you can remove the O pump. So now we're ready to install the new pump. If you do need this pump, I will leave a link in the description below if needed. So just like I stated, make sure you put the harnesses back on the correct way, the same as you take them off. You cannot mix these or cross these wires. Okay, so it's supposed to be clipped in here at the bottom there, then clipped into the pump itself, the housing. But here in a moment you'll see I actually mess up. I go to the top part. But go ahead and slide the pump in. You have two holes, or they're kind of, I guess you would say, carved out where this pump goes, so you can't really mess it up. And once you slide it into place and get it settled, then you can reconnect your two Phillips screws and snug it down. Just make sure everything's aligned right. One thing I like to do is like the hand tighten first. That way I don't strip the housing. So say if I go in at an angle or something like that, I can strip it. So I like to hand tighten everything first, and then just go in with my hand tool or drill and snug it down. Okay, now I'm going to go in and snug everything down, or the screws I would say, not everything. So get a good angle, and sorry about the camera angle, this is kind of a odd spot I would say, especially in the dark garage. Okay, so I should have connected this harness before I put the pump in, but I didn't. So I actually clipped it to the top part where it clips in. It should have went to the bottom, then connected to the housing. As you can see, the little hole there, that's how it should have went. But yeah, I guess you can judge me on that one. So yeah, next time just put it in before you put the pump in. There we go. So let me snug this down, and then we're going to reconnect the hoses. So this hose, you'll just slide over the pump, make sure it's all the way pressed in, and then you'll just press the clip together with your hands, or you can use your vice grips or whatever you use to get it off, and just make sure it's exactly lined up with the marks of the, I guess, the hose itself. Definitely don't want that to pop off. And then you have a little plastic clip here that connects to the, let me show you. This is the new one, but I'm going to use the old one. Too much work. So get that on. Sorry about the angle. So that's nice and snugged and just slides right in, as you can see there. So now we're going to install the top hose. So I thought I was going to be slick and press it over like I did the bottom one, and then try to put the clamp over. Well, unfortunately it doesn't work that way. As you'll see here, I'll try to do that and it doesn't work. You actually have to put the clamp over where it belongs first, and then press down as you press the clip together. So as you'll see here. So yeah, before you try to put it on the pump, put it where it goes into the groove, and then you'll press down on the clamp itself as you press down on the hose to press down on the pump, if that makes sense. As you'll see, see if I can get a better angle. Press the clip in as I press down on the hose, and then let go of the clip. And that's how it's supposed to connect. And as always, make sure everything's nice and secured. Let me put in this little piece here all the way in. Now everything's nice and secure, so we should be good to go. So back to the harness that comes with the drain pump. If you did want to remove it, once again, it goes up the wall here. It's just clipped in, and then through here, and then you have to remove the board. You have, the back panel to the board is like, I believe, 4 or 5 screws, Phillips, and just pop the back panel off. But nope, didn't go that route. So I'm making sure everything's nice and secured, and then I'll go ahead and put this back on because just too much extra work, not needed. So now I'm going to reinstall this hose. I didn't show you how I took it off. It's fairly simple. It's just the Phillips screw. So put this back in for now, and obviously zip tie that when you're done. Don't want that to pop out, I would say, especially if you live in a 2-story home. So we'll install this screw. There we go, and then we can plug it in for testing. So once you make sure that's back in for sure. Once you get it going, or for the testing, you want to just press the power button and go wrench and spin and press start. It'll take a moment before it activates, but if your door or your lid lock is still locked, you can't open it until it knows that it's, I guess, safe to open. So let it do its thing and it's this cycle, and then it should unlock. And if it doesn't, you can just press the spin only and try that. Okay, great. So the machine did unlock the lid. So we'll open this thing up, or this washer up, I would say. Press the power button. There we go. So this is kind of a common problem too. This connection actually goes to your door switch. So there should be a little clip underneath where it connects to. That's another video, but yeah. So we'll press power. So say if you wasn't able to unlock it, you can actually go wrench and spin and just press this or hold this spin only button, then press start and let it complete its cycle there, and then hopefully that does unlock. And as you can see here, the pump is working fine now. As you can remember at the beginning of the video, wasn't working. So now there we go. It just has a little bit of water in the tub, so that's why there's not really much showing, but great. And also check for leaks. Make sure you have no leaks, no surprises for later. This is the back panel. Just press up into the grooves and down, up and down. That's 2 little clips at the bottom, and then just align your 4 Phillips screws, put them in,